For over 60 years, a woman who worked as a maid in Muhammad Ali's private training camp kept silent about the man behind the legend. Now, at 92, she's finally breaking her silence to reveal the side of Ali the world never saw. And this is a journey into the untold stories of one of the most iconic figures in sports history. Hired in her early 20s, she stepped into a hidden world, a training camp nestled in Pennsylvania's woods, filled with discipline, faith, and unspoken rules. She was just the help, invisible to most, but she saw everything, and what she witnessed would surprise everyone. Ali's charm was real, as was his charisma, but so were his fears, outbursts, and haunting loneliness. This documentary aims to peel back the layers of a complicated man, showcasing the lesser-known aspects of Ali's life and the intricate balance between a public persona of a champion and a private battle with struggles. Deer Lake was more than a camp. It was Ali's fortress, built on faith, discipline, and control, a space designed for a true champion. In this hidden realm, where the laughter echoed and tension thrived simultaneously, she played a significant role, bearing silent witness to the life of an athlete who, despite glimmering fame, faced inner demons that often went unseen. Prepare to unravel the complexities of Muhammad Ali through the eyes of someone who kept his secrets for decades as we embark on this unforgettable journey. An unexpected witness. At just 21 years old, she stepped into a world unlike any other, a private training camp nestled deep within the Pennsylvania woods. This was not just a residence. It was a realm dedicated to the relentless pursuit of excellence, where the greatest fighter in history prepared for battle. Behind the serene facade lay an intense environment filled with discipline, faith, and unyielding expectations. As one of the few women in this predominantly male space, she was often overlooked, simply referred to as the help. Yet, this seemingly insignificant role became her greatest asset. In her position, she moved quietly, watching closely, absorbing everything around her. Every laugh shared, every intense training session, and every unguarded moment. While most people saw the dazzling charm of Muhammad Ali, his magnetic charisma that captivated audiences, she witnessed the complexities hidden behind the scenes. The contrast between his public persona and private struggles was stark. On one hand, there was the playful hero, shadowboxing in the kitchen, cracking jokes, and reciting poetry that made everyone laugh. On the other hand, there were days when Ali withdrew into himself, consumed by doubts and fears, leaving her to observe the vulnerability of a man who was adored by millions, yet burdened by the weight of expectations. Her silence was her shield, allowing her to see the unfiltered truth about the man behind the legend, a truth that remained hidden from the spotlight, but was very real and powerful. As she witnessed his highs and lows, she realized she wasn't just a bystander. She was an unexpected witness to the duality of a living icon. Life inside Ali's kingdom. Deer Lake was more than a training camp. It was Muhammad Ali's fortress, a sanctuary built on faith, discipline, and unmatched control. Nestled in the serene woods of Pennsylvania, this kingdom was designed to reflect Ali's deepest values, including spiritual reflection, physical excellence, and psychological warfare. The camp was a world apart, a place where the outside noise faded and the focus shifted solely to the art of boxing. Ali meticulously curated this space, with no journalists or uninvited guests allowed, ensuring that every detail was attended to, every aspect under his command. Inside those walls, she witnessed something extraordinary. Ali was not just a champion. He was a multifaceted man, filled with contradictions. He could be playful one moment, joking with the staff, engaging with a warmth that lit up the room, and then transform into someone distant and unapproachable the next. The atmosphere could shift like a light switch, revealing the burden he carried under the weight of his fame. Day after day, she absorbed the rituals and routines, observing everything from intense training sessions to quiet moments of reflection. Ali would shadowbox in the kitchen, recite poetry, or share jokes, displaying a charismatic side that charmed all around him. Yet, on other days, she witnessed a more vulnerable side as he grappled with his inner demons, rarely speaking of his fears, but those fears were ever present. In this silent role as the help, she stood on the periphery, absorbing the chaos and the elegance of life inside Ali's kingdom, a world that looked glamorous to outsiders but was fraught with complexity beneath the surface. The man behind the spotlight. In a world filled with bright lights, cameras, and adoring fans, Muhammad Ali stood tall as an icon of sports and culture. Yet behind the glimmering facade lies a man who grappled with immense pressure and expectation, a human being fraught with contradictions. Those closest to him, particularly his maid, witnessed moments of both charm and vulnerability, revealing the delicate balance he maintained between public adoration and private struggles. From his playful banter in the training camp to moments of profound introspection, the complexity of Ali's character was apparent. He would often recite poetry, joke with the staff, and inspire everyone with his resilience. However, when the cameras were off, fears crept in. The intense weight of his fame made some nights unbearable. He would find himself pacing, quietly wrestling with the shadows of doubt that threatened to overshadow his legacy. His maid observed these personal battles, offering a unique perspective that the world rarely saw. Ali was not just a champion in the ring. He was a man fighting to uphold an image that demanded perfection, constantly aware that even legends are made of flesh and bone. The silent struggles he faced, the relationships he cultivated and discarded, all contributed to a narrative that often went unnoticed. It is this intricate tapestry of strength and fragility that paints a fuller picture of the man behind the spotlight, reminding us that true greatness is accompanied by its own set of burdens. And as we remember Muhammad Ali, we must recognize not only his victories, but also the silent battles he never spoke of. Secrets and silent struggles. Inside Muhammad Ali's Deer Lake camp, the truth was often masked by the myth of the champion, a reality that few got to witness. The maid, quietly observing from the shadows, saw the cracks in Ali's larger-than-life persona, exposing the hidden battles he fought. Those who stood in awe of him didn't see the trembling hands, nor did they hear the whispered fears that crept into his cabin at night. He often appeared jovial, entertaining with jokes and charm, yet behind the scenes, he grappled with pressure that was suffocating. Some days, the laughter echoed through the training ground, while other days, a haunting stillness settled in, reflecting his inner turmoil. The burden of fame and the weight of expectations pressed hard on his shoulders, making him a complex figure who was more than just a fighter. In moments when he struggled to lift a glass, or his gaze drifted into an unsettling silence, the maid recognized the unspoken truth that even champions have their vulnerabilities. Ali was perceived as invincible by the world, yet she saw a human who feared loss, a man wrestling with self-doubt. The secrets she kept, of the moments he prayed alone, or the tears he shed were etched in her memory. These silent struggles painted a fuller picture of the man behind the gloves. As she ventured through a world fixated on the legend, she understood that the truth behind Ali's life was not just about his victories, but also about the battles that raged within, shaping both the man and the myth in deeply intertwined ways. Unseen relationships and hidden pain. Inside the camp, women came and went quietly, often attached to Ali, but never discussed openly. She learned to silence her questions. Some parts of his life were strictly buried. Behind closed doors, relationships were volatile, marked by loyalty and sudden cutoffs, reflecting the fragile man beneath the myth, Ali. There was an unspoken understanding in the camp. Any mention of these women was off-limits, a secret that weighed heavily on those who witnessed it. Ali maintained an image of the devoted husband, always thanking his wife in interviews. Yet behind the scenes, the reality was vastly different, with romantic entanglements that could quickly spiral into chaos. Unshed tears and heated arguments flared up in moments of vulnerability and jealousy, creating an atmosphere charged with emotions. Staff often witnessed disagreements, whispers of deceit, and the painful fallout of loyalty tested. One moment, he might embrace a woman with warmth, laughter, and affection. The next, he could cut ties without a second thought, leaving quiet heartbreak in his wake. This pattern of interaction created an unsettling dynamic where love and pain intertwined, leading to a sense of unknowing among those present. The maid observed it all, her heart heavy with the burden of secrets she was not meant to share, yet impossible to ignore. She saw relationships dissolve into silence, uncertain gazes exchanged in the aftermath of a storm. In this world, love was often fleeting, shadowed by Ali's fierce need for control, and the consequences of his choices rippled through the lives surrounding him, marking each witness with the understanding that sometimes, behind the most celebrated figures, lies a tumultuous reality, full of unspoken stories of pain and hidden love. A glimpse into vulnerability. One night, during Ramadan, she found Ali quietly praying alone, stripped of bravado. He confided that every gift, including fame, came with a price. In a rare moment of fear, he asked if the world would still love him if he lost his voice. A heartbreaking glimpse into his private struggle, one that few ever witnessed. Having stepped into this intimate space, she felt the weight of his vulnerability, the cracks in the powerful persona that everyone admired. Here was the man, not the icon, facing shadows that lingered when the cameras were off, whispering doubts that haunted him, moments of trembling hands and burdened thoughts. This was the true Muhammad Ali, a character forged in both the light of fame and the exhaustion of expectation, battling against the tide of public perception and his own inner demons. As she watched him, the sense of a deeper humanity began to emerge. His pleas, silent and heavy, painted a picture of struggle far beyond the ring. The pressures of being the greatest weren't just physical, but emotional, a relentless fight against time and fear, echoing silently in the walls of Deer Lake. Those moments of prayer, reflection, and unexpected quietness became a window into his soul, revealing a tender side that the public rarely saw. It was then she understood that even champions are human, grappling with their own vulnerabilities, fears, and doubts, constantly striving to balance their public personas with the private battles they endure. And from that night forward, she understood this complexity, forever changed by witnessing Ali's truth. Breaking decades of silence. For more than 60 years, she remained quiet, a maid in Muhammad Ali's private training camp, witnessing the man behind the legend without ever sharing what she saw. Now, at 92 years old, she's finally breaking her silence, revealing shocking truths and experiences that many have never heard about before about the iconic boxer. Hired as a young woman, she stepped into a world hidden from public view, where Ali's charm and charisma existed alongside his struggles and vulnerabilities. Inside the secluded Deer Lake camp, she observed not just the rigorous training, but also the emotional battles that Ali faced daily. The passionate outbursts, the moments of isolation, and the haunting loneliness of a man who felt the immense weight of expectations. Everyone saw Ali as the greatest fighter, but she noticed the subtle signs of his decline, how he grappled with his own identity away from cameras. Years of silence burdened her, as she held witness to his complexities, balancing the decorum of a maid with the weight of history unfolding in front of her. Refusing to speak out for decades, she now feels compelled to share these untold stories, not to diminish his legacy, but to complete it, illuminating the man who fought countless battles in and out of the ring. She seeks to humanize a legend, to show that greatness comes at a profound cost, and that behind the iconic figure was a man who deserved to be remembered, not just as a champion, but as a flawed, vulnerable human being who carried the struggles of fame deeply within himself. Reflecting on greatness and its cost. Greatness always comes with a price, and this is particularly true for icons like Muhammad Ali. He was not just a boxer, he was a symbol of resistance, excellence, and confidence. Yet, beneath the accolades and widely celebrated persona, there existed an undeniable fragility. The public admired his resilience in the ring and his ability to stand firm against adversity, like the U.S. government during the Vietnam War, but few understood the internal battles he faced daily. Ali's path was marked by triumphs, of course, but it was also filled with personal trials and heavy expectations. Many saw only his dazzling charm and charisma, yet those who worked closely with him witnessed a man wrestling with his identity, his dignity, and his humanity. The pressure to maintain an image, to be the greatest, often left him weary and at times lonely. In quieter moments, those closest to him recognized a profound vulnerability. They observed how he occasionally retreated into silence, battling with the toll that fame extracted. Fame, as illustrious as it is, painted a picture of invincibility, but it simultaneously shrouded the complex reality of pain and anxiety that Ali endured. Through her narrative, the maid who served him reveals that the essence of greatness is not merely in accomplishments or victories, but in the quiet struggles, the sacrifices made, and the emotional toll it demands. In remembering Ali, let us honor not just the icon he became, but also the man he truly was, reminding ourselves that greatness, while inspiring, often conceals a deeper, more complicated truth. In the end, the story of Muhammad Ali is more than just a tale of boxing greatness. It is a reflection of the complexities of the human spirit. Throughout his life, Ali exhibited a fierce will to fight, not just against his opponents, but against the personal demons and societal expectations that weighed heavily upon him. As we consider his legacy, we must acknowledge that greatness comes at a daunting cost, which often remains hidden beneath the surface. The maid who witnessed Ali's journey offers us a unique perspective, exposing the vulnerabilities that often linger behind the public persona of icons. We learn that even legends like Ali grapple with self-doubt, fear, and the emotional turmoil that fame can impose. This duality, the champion adored by millions, but also the man who faced deep personal challenges, shapes our understanding of who he truly was. It is crucial to appreciate the full spectrum of his experiences, not simply the victories, but also the struggles that defined him. Ali's life teaches us that to remember a legend fully, we must embrace both the highs and the lows. By doing so, we honor the richness of his life and the lessons it imparts. As we reflect on Ali's legacy, let us strive to remember him as the multifaceted man he was, recognizing the strength in his humanity and the weight of his sacrifices, ultimately allowing us to celebrate not just the champion, but the person behind the legend.